On the 6th of December, 1888, two school board members, William Ashley and Hiram Roten, walked into the little sod schoolhouse at Broken Bow, Nebraska. There they spoke with teacher Albert Haunstine, 25, about the children and the school budget. As they were conversing, the men noticed that the clock, usually high up on the wall, was missing, along with one of the classroom benches. As times were tough, they immediately accused the teacher of selling them. Heated words were exchanged, and the teacher retrieved the clock from his room, but couldn't produce the bench. As the two board members turned to leave Haunstine, he reached for a revolver and shot both men in the back. He ransacked the men's pockets, dragged them to the barn, and covered them with hay. He fetched his 17-year-old wife, a few belongings, and took off in the board members' buggy. Soon the bodies of the men were discovered, but not before the farm hogs had got to them. Suspicion fell on the missing couple, and a wanted poster was produced. Months later, Albert Haunstine was recognized on a train station at Columbus. The sheriff was notified, and he was arrested without a struggle. The next year, he was tried in Broken Bow. He was found guilty of murder and sentenced to hang. 2 years later, the day of his execution arrived. A large crowd had flooded in from all over the county. Sheriff Jones escorted the condemned man to the scaffold. In front of the crowd, Albert gave a full confession of the murders. He pleaded for mercy, but none was given. The sheriff placed the noose around his neck, and in a few seconds, he released the trap door. As the rope ran out, Albert's weight snapped the rope, and he fell with a thud. As the crowd pressed forward, one can only imagine what he thought of his situation. Soon a replacement rope was found, and Albert Haunstine was hanged for his crimes a second time, and this time, the hanging was successful. The following is a story of Pi Ta-Mak-An, or Running Eagle, a Blackfoot woman warrior. Running Eagle preferred to play with boys than girls, and by the age of 12, she was always wearing boys' clothing. Her father, a renowned warrior, taught her all the same things that he taught her brothers about hunting and fighting, although it was against her mother's wishes. It wasn't long before she began to hunt buffalo with her father and brothers and other warriors. During one hunt, her group was attacked by the Assiniboine, an enemy tribe. As a small party of warriors fled before the large enemy force charging towards them, her father's horse was shot from beneath him. He was alone facing the rushing enemy warriors, shooting to save his life. When Running Eagle turned and saw this, she rode straight back towards the oncoming enemy. Bullets flew around her as she rode up to her father, who quickly jumped on the back, and the two rode away to safety. After this brave deed, she was hailed a hero, and a large dance was performed in her honor. One day, warriors from her tribe set out to raid the Crow to steal horses. The war chief leading the raid realized, however, that Running Eagle was following after them, so the warriors stopped and waited for her. When she got close, the chief yelled at her to go home, but she refused. He then threatened to call off the entire raid if she did not comply, to which she called out she would continue on to the Crow camp alone if she had to. Knowing her stubbornness, he let her continue with the other warriors. Arriving at the Crow camp on a dying moon, she asked the chief if she could be first into the Crow camp. He agreed, and she crept into the sleeping camp alone and stealthily cut the ropes of 6 horses that were tied to lodges. After she had returned with the horses, she went back and repeated the brave deed. Then the other warriors took their turns to raid the camp. They all got away with horses, and the Crows had not even awakened. After a few days' ride, they returned to their camp, and the medicine man gave her the name Pi Ta-Mak-An, which was a very great one. It was that of a renowned chief who had died long ago. After that raid, Pi Ta-Mak-An did not have to sneak after a party in order to go to war with them. She was asked to go. And after more successful raids against different enemy tribes, the Crows, the Sioux, and the Flatheads, she herself became a war chief, and warriors asked to join her raiding parties because they believed that where she led them, nothing but good luck would come to them. On her 9th raid, she led a party to a large Flathead camp, but on the way, Flathead warriors discovered the raiders and a running battle ensued. The Flatheads had heard of the woman war chief, and upon seeing her in the flesh, all of them wanted the honor of being the one to have killed her. They chased her down, and a Flathead warrior named Zamalia rode alongside her, swung his war club, and hit her in the head. The fierce Pi Ta-Mak-An fell to the earth, and she died on the prairie. Her life story would be told around Blackfoot fires for years to come. Today, the Pi Ta-Mak-An Pass in Glacier National Park, Montana, is named after her.